Hey guys, so in this video we're going to continue on with some of the examples that we had for advantages and absolute advantages and comparative advantages. We're also going to try and tie this in with the introduction to the benefits of trading and why we actually get benefits from trading. Okay, so let's start. This is just a slight difference in the example that we went over in the last video. And the difference being is now Mark can make 3 hot dogs per hour. And this is just an important note to make because I've seen this question come up a couple of times and it causes just a little bit of confusion. So I can make 10 hamburgers per hour or 1 hot dog. And Mark can make 30 hamburgers per hour or 3 hot dogs per hour. Who has the advantage? Okay, so we can see absolute advantage in the absolute advantage way. The absolute advantage. Mark can still make more of both. So he can still make more hamburgers than me and he can still make more hot dogs than me per hour. So Mark still has absolute advantage in both of these products. But, okay, so now moving on to the comparative advantage. We said the person who has the lowest opportunity cost has the comparative advantage. I also said that no person can have the comparative advantage in both of the products that we use. Okay, so what's our what's our opportunity cost for me of producing 1 hot dog? So if I produce that 1 hot dog, I forego 10 hamburgers. So for me, my opportunity cost for 1 hot dog equals 10 hamburgers. Sorry, that's just a bit messy there. Try and neaten it up. So it's 10 hamburgers. Now, Mark's opportunity cost. So Mark opportunity cost for 1 hot dog equals, so if he makes this 1 hot dog, he's foregoing 10 hamburgers as well. Okay, so he's also got 10 hamburgers. So in this case, we say that neither of us have a comparative advantage. So no comparative advantage. And this still isn't violating our rule that we set out earlier that one person can't have a comparative advantage in both products. In this case, neither person has a comparative advantage. Okay, so that's just a little bit of a question that sometimes comes up. So just be wary of that. So just think about it, and if the comparative advantage for both of them are the same, then there is no comparative advantage for either the hot dogs or the hamburgers in this example. Okay. Sorry. Okay. Now, let's look at some trade and why we might trade in an economy. So let's just say I can make 10 of good X or 1 of good Y in an hour. Mark can make 3 of good X or 12 of good Y in 1 hour. Okay, let's just say we want some of both. So I might work for an hour on good X and then work for 1 hour on good Y. So after 1 hour, 2 hours, the maximum I can get is 10 of good X. So I'll have 10X and 1 Y. Okay, so that's all I can do after 2 hours. That's if I was working by myself. Mark, on the other hand, after 2 hours, so if he wanted some of both as well, he could get so he can make 3X and 12Y. So Obviously, this could change a little bit depending on how much he wanted of each one and how much time he spent on each. This is just illustrating the example. So he's only got 3 of x and 12 of y. And so this is alright if we're just working by ourselves, but let's see if we can do better if we somehow introduce that we both trade. So let's just say I work 2 hours producing only x. So after 2 hours, I only make x. So if I only make x, I can make 20x. And let's just say that Mark only produces y for those 2 hours. So he can make 24y. So if we both just work on on our strengths, so obviously it's quite obvious here that it's more beneficial for me to work on x. It's more beneficial for Mark to work on y. And the reason for that is because our opportunity costs are lower. So you can work that out. Our opportunity costs are lower. But just going back to this, after 2 hours, we can have a total of 20x or 24y. So if we both did it up here and just worked individually, we'd only have 13x and 13y. Whereas here, we've got a lot more because we've both worked on what we are better at. So we could even split this right down the middle and we're both going to be better off. So I'd have 10x and 12y. So that's a lot more y that I'd have. And then if I just did it myself. Whereas Mike, if we split it down the middle, he would have 10x2, so he's got more x, and he would still have 12y. So it's beneficial for both of us if we trade. So this is just a very brief example of how we get the benefits from trading. And we'll go over some of the more nitty-gritty of it and look at the actual opportunity cost. But we can just see how the benefits here accrue to each person if they specialize on what they are good at.